So right, I've had a lot of requests recently for a new video about the shadowing technique. So, here we are. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I used the shadowing technique to learn Japanese to the level of fluency that I did. So first of all, a bit of background. Like everybody else, I started learning Japanese by using textbooks. I studied grammar rules and I memorized words, and I answered the questions in the textbook, and that was about it. So after a while, I could understand a little bit of Japanese. I could read a little bit of Japanese, but I couldn't speak any Japanese at all. I couldn't speak, and I couldn't hear Japanese. My listening was terrible. That is native speed Japanese, just impossible. Now the CD attached to a textbook, I could understand that, no problem, because it's so slow and the language is so plain and dry. Could understand that, but not real Japanese. Complete waste of time. So, I heard of the shadowing technique, so I'd try and follow along with Japanese TV shows, and I kept that up for a while, and it helped a little bit. But to be honest, it was too much. It was too much all in one go. You know, a TV show is pretty long. It was hard to choose a part to shadow, and it was hard to keep it up, and it was hard to review or keep up practice. So I gave up that pretty quick, to be honest. And eventually I came across a website called www.japanesepod101.com. JapanesePod is basically, it's a website full of Japanese audio lessons. The best thing about them is that each lesson has a dialogue, and you can download the dialogue, and I used those dialogues for shadowing. And when I started doing that, I really started to notice an improvement in my Japanese. So, let's take a look at what I actually did with this website, JapanesePod101, and shadowing. Okay, so let's take a look over here. Okay, bring that up on screen. Right, so I'm going to demonstrate today with Englishclass101. It's exactly the same. This is the English language version. I used the Japanese language version, but just to make it easier for you guys to follow, I'm going to use the English language version. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to sign in. Okay, so here we've got, this is the learning, they call it the Learning Center. This is the main website. So you've got these kind of different types of lessons. You've got a lot of tools and things at the top. There's a lot of useful things in here. I'm not going to talk about them today though. Okay, so let's pick a lesson. So let's go for intermediate today. Intermediate season 1. That sounds good. Let's just wait for this to come up. So my internet connection is very slow recently. Okay, here we go. So we've got all these lessons. You know, there are thousands and thousands of lessons on here. Let's just pick one at random. How about this one? Okay, so bring that up on screen. Okay, so we've got that up here now. So this is the lesson. This is one lesson that you get. You can see it's got all this stuff on here. Oh, some stuff falling down from the wind. It's okay, don't worry about that. So if we take a look down here, this is the main audio lesson. Now I didn't listen to this on the website. What I did is I used this tool here called My Feed. Now this is a very useful tool. Basically, My Feed lets you download whatever lessons you want onto your iPod. So I download about a week's worth at a time. I download those and I'd listen to this lesson on the train in the morning on my way to work. And as you can see, it's only about 13 minutes long. So, you know, my commute to work was about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, depending on the day on the train. So, you know, I could listen to that easily on my way to work. So I'd listen to that on the train, and then after I'd listened to the lesson, I'd go to this track here, which is the dialogue. This is the same dialogue as you hear in the lesson. It's just in a separate track, so you don't have to listen to the other stuff. It's very useful. And I'd listen to that a few times, and then that's it. So by now, this is kind of in my head now. It's stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Then I'd finish my working day. I'd get back on the train, going back home, and then I would go back to this and I would listen to this track here, the review track, and I'd review all the vocabulary and everything from the lesson. I'd listen to that a few times, usually, well, about 2 or 3 times sometimes, and then I'd listen to the dialogue a few more times. So by now I've listened to this dialogue several times. I've listened to the lesson, I've listened to the review. Now I understand this, no problem. This is all easy for me now. So I would get home, and then later on in the evening I would use this tool here, line by line audio transcript. Now this is the best thing about this website. This is a really amazing tool because, let's click on this here and open this up. I'm going to come down to the bottom and you can see it's loading here. Again, sorry, my internet connection is very, very slow here. Okay, so, as you can see here, we've got a transcript of the audio track. And it's not so long, it's about the right length, I think. We've got a transcript of the audio track, and you have these buttons here, so we can listen to this line by line. For example, here we go.
So, it looks like you're feeling better.
Okay, so it looks like you're feeling better. Next track.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit me the other day, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit me the other day, by the way. Okay, so what I would do is I would shadow this line by line. And I'd do each line several times until it was easy for me. For example, let's do the first line.
So it looks like you're feeling better.
Yeah, I think that was okay, but I feel like I need more practice. So let's go through that again.
So it looks like you're feeling better.
Yeah, I think that's okay now, so let's go to the next line.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit me the other day, by the way.
I think that one's fine. So, next line.
Don't mention it. We were just a little worried about you after the party.
Yeah, I need more practice with that one, so let's give that one another go.
Don't mention it. We were just a little worried about you after the party.
So sometimes I would look at these lines and I would read as I'm saying, and as I'm practicing I'll try not to look at that, and I'll try to just listen and shadow just from the audio as much as possible. So I would go through all of these lines and I'd practice all of them a few times. It doesn't take long, just a couple of minutes to get through these. As I said, it's not very long. And then next I would come back up to here, to the dialogue, and I would load the whole dialogue. So if we click here on the pop-up, let's just let that come up. Okay, so we've got that up here now, and I would shadow the whole thing through. So here we go, here the dialogue, it starts up.
So, it looks like you're feeling better.
Yeah, thanks for coming to visit me the other day, by the way.
Don't mention it. We were just a little bit worried about you after the party.
And you wanted to check out the pool? That too.
Well, I hope my apartment...
Okay, so you get the idea. So I'd go through the conversation, and anything difficult, anything which I thought, oh, that was a little bit too difficult, I'd go back to the line-by-line transcript and I'd practice those again. And I'd keep at it until just it all felt natural and easy. And then next I would come to this tool, the voice recorder. Click on that one, open that, and basically what you get is an on-screen voice recorder. let that load. This used to be very fast on my old at my old house, but my internet connection, I moved recently, and my internet connection here is terrible. It really does take so long for anything to load. Okay, so we get this voice recorder here. So now I'm not going to use the audio, I'm just going to read this through. Sometimes if I was feeling really enthusiastic, I'd try and memorize this conversation, but I haven't done that today, so I'm just going to read it. So we click on record. So, it looks like you're feeling better. Yeah, thanks for coming to visit me the other day, by the way. Don't mention it. We were just a little bit worried about you after the party. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's stop that. And now I'm going to listen back to my own pronunciation. Record. So, it looks like you're feeling better. Yeah, thanks for coming to visit me the other day, by the way. Don't mention it. We were just a little bit worried about you after the party. Okay, blah. Okay, so I think that's mostly okay, but I think my pronunciation of this first part, don't mention it, I'm not happy with that, so I'm gonna practice that a few more times.
Don't mention it. We were just a little worried about you after the party.
Okay, so I'm gonna practice that again, then I'll re-record myself and listen to it again. So basically, I'm shadowing line by line. I'm trying to match my pronunciation, the speed and the rhythm to the speaker on the audio. And I do that for each line, and then do the whole conversation with the dialogue, again trying to match the speed and the rhythm of the native speakers and the pronunciation. And sometimes I would even just choose one character from the story. I wouldn't do the whole thing, I'd just do, for example, Drew or something like that, or Teddy, or whoever the characters are in that conversation. I'm going to go through that, I'm going to get good at it, then I'm going to record myself, I'm going to listen back to that and see how it sounds. If it sounds good, great. If it doesn't, practice it, then I'm going to try it again. Now that sounds a lot, but actually it only took about 10 minutes a day, I think. I'd get through a lesson very, very quickly. So I'm listening on the train on my way to work and on the train on my way home from work. And anyway, that's commute time, so, you know, it's not wasted time. And then I come home and about 10 minutes on this, I shadow the material, and then that was it. That was my day's learning of Japanese. Really, we're talking 30 or 40 minutes a day, most of that on the train, 10 minutes at home. And doing this, I found that I could improve my listening and my speaking very, very quickly. And it wasn't much time before I found that I could start to understand what people were saying in conversation, and I could start to join in the conversations by myself. And that was really great motivation, and I kept up this system, this pattern, I kept it up for more than 2 years, until basically I'd finished everything on the Japanese Pod site. And we're talking thousands of lessons here, more than 1,000 lessons at least. So you can see just how quickly I was able to just absorb all this Japanese, in your case, all this English, this material, just very, very easily. And of course you don't have to use Englishclass 101 or Japanese Pod 101 for shadowing. You can use anything. And now I use TV shows and audiobooks, as I demonstrated in my other video. But now I have a lot more time than I did when I first came to Japan about 5 years ago now. So the best thing about this is that each lesson is very, very short and self-contained. Now, self-contained means that you can listen to whichever lesson you want at any time. You don't have to start from 1 and go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can basically just choose what you're interested in or what is useful for you at that time. And because they're short, it's very easy to finish one lesson in a day. So it's very easy to make the goal of one day, one lesson. Next day, one new lesson. So you're always using new material. It doesn't get boring. The lessons are quite funny and interesting anyway. So it's very, very easy to keep it up. Occasionally I'd go back and I'd review old lessons and I'd listen to old dialogues, but mostly I'd just keep on doing a new lesson a day. And yeah, as I said, I kept that up for about 2 years until I got to the level of Japanese that I'm at now, and I found everything on the website just too easy, and I'd finished everything. So recently I don't use it so much. As I said, I use audiobooks and TV shows instead. But yeah, that's it. I highly recommend using this site with the shadowing technique. Actually, something else that I will point out is that this is not free. Where you can get a free account and you can get a certain amount free. And if you sign up for a free account, you get a free premium account for, I think is it a week or 2 weeks? I don't remember. So you can get a premium account free for a while, but then you have to pay for it. And it's a little bit on the pricey side. But actually, for the 2 years or so that I kept this up, I didn't spend money on anything else for learning Japanese. I never felt like I needed to take classes, so there was no class fees to pay. I didn't buy any other CDs, there was nothing like that. I didn't really buy any textbooks. So actually, this was a very cheap, very cost-effective way for me to learn Japanese. And I saved a lot of time by using this. Like I said, it was just 10 minutes a day, literally, for 2 years, and that was it. Yeah, money and time, I saved a lot of it using this. So yeah, that's it. As always, if you've got any questions, leave a comment. If you've got any requests for something else you want me to talk about more, leave it in the comments. If you have something you want to ask, leave a comment. And okay, that's it for today. Until next time. See you then.